What's up, everybody? This is Antonio here to bring you another episode in the series of how many shares of a certain company do you need to own to make $1,000 a month, $100 a month, and even $100 a week. So in this episode, we are going to be going over SPHD, which is the next one on the list. If there's a company you guys do want me to cover, let me know. I'll be happy to add it to the list and we'll eventually get to it. But in this episodes, we do pull up the company or ticker symbol, look at the company profile or ETF, fund, and then read a little bit about them, pull up the chart, see how the performance is. Then we go to the dividend summary where we can look at the dividend scorecard and see the dividend information. Then we'll pull up the calculator, crunch the numbers for $1,000 a month, $100 a month, and also $100 a week. See how much you'd have to have invested at that point in time. And then, of course, we'll wrap it up with the dividend yield, showing us if currently the best time is to invest in it now, or it was in the past, or when it was. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. I'm going to go ahead and pull up Seeking Alpha. All right, guys, so we're at Seeking Alpha. I have SPHD, which is Invesco S&P 500 High Dividend Low Volatility ETF. Currently trading about $39.71 a share. So if I pull up the fund profile, we can read a little bit about them. So Invesco Exchange Traded Fund Trust 2, Invesco S&P 500 High Dividend Low Volatility ETF is an exchange traded fund launched and managed by Invesco Capital Management LLC. The fund invests in public equity markets of the United States. The fund invests in stocks of companies operating across diversified sectors. It invests in less volatile stocks of large cap companies. It invests in dividend paying stocks of companies. It seeks to track the performance of the S&P 500 low volatility high dividend index by using full replication technique. Invesco Exchange Traded Fund Trust 2, Invesco S&P 500 High Dividend Yield Low Volatility ETF was formed on October 18th, 2012 and domiciled in the United States. So if we look the fund details, fund type is US equity. Issuer is Invesco, and then inception was in October 18th, 2012. Expense ratio, they charge you 0.30%. Assets under management is a 2.85 billion. And then if we look at the returns, you can kind of see here compared to everything else. If we pull up the charts here, we can kind of see their performance. So on the year to date, they are actually not showing up. Okay, there we go. They are down by 9.75% in the red. On the 1 year change, they are down by 12.18%. 5 year change here, they are down 1.84%. On the 10 year change, they are up by 39.91%. And then totally, since they've been publicly traded, it's 57.68%, which goes all the way to right around 2012. So not the best performance there for almost 12 years or so. And if we look at the 52-week range here, 52-week low is a $37.19. 52-week high is a $46.29. Trading closer to the 52-week low. If we look at the expense ratio, 0.30%. Dividend frequency is monthly, and then the rate is $1.88. The yield is a 4.75%, and again, the assets under management are at 2.85 billion. If we pull up the company, or I guess the dividend scorecard, we can kind of see their dividend summary here. So again, dividend yield is a 4.75%, which is a pretty good dividend yield, pretty high there. On the annual payout is $1.88. So for each share you do own, you'd get paid $1.88 yearly. The 5-year CAGR though is very, very small, as a 2.61%. 1%, and then it's showing 1 year of dividend growth only. They do pay out monthly, and they pay you out 16 cents every single month per share that you do own. Let's go ahead and pull up the calculator, guys, so we can start crunching these numbers. So first one we're going to figure out is how much of this company would you have to have invested at the current share price right now to start making or generating about $1,000 every single month. So we want to make $1,000 every month. There is 12 months in a year, so annually we need to make $12,000. If we take those $12,000 and divide it by the annual payout, which is at $1.88, we would get actually the total number of shares we need to achieve that, which is roughly about 6,382 shares, almost 83 shares there. And then if we actually go up here, multiply those total number of shares times the current share price, which is $39.71. This will give us the total amount of money you'd have to have invested right now at this current share price. And then you'd be roughly estimated to make about $1,000 a month. So $253,468 you'd have to currently invest and buy of this stock at this current share price. A quick way you can actually calculate this, guys, is if you take the $12,000 you need to make annually divided by the dividend yield, which is at 4.75%. You'll see that we get a close number there, $252,000 invested. That's a quick way to calculate that. Let's go ahead and do the next one, which is $100 every single month. This one's a little bit more achievable because you do require a lot less capital. You could actually take the previous answer divided by 10, but since we do have the calculator, we'll go ahead and do the math behind it for anybody that is interested. So we want to do $100 every single month, 12 months in a year, of course. So annually we need to make $1,200. If we take that divided by the annual payout, which is $1.88, which means that we have to have about 638 shares. If we take those shares and multiply it times the current share price, this will give us the total amount of money you'd have to have invested, which is roughly about $25,346 is what you'd have invested, and you'd be roughly making about $100 every month. So that's pretty cool. Quick way to calculate this: take the 1,200 divided by the dividend yield, which I accidentally pressed 0. So 1,200 divided by the dividend yield, which is a 4.75%. You'll see we roughly get about $25,263 invested in this company or ETF. Let's go ahead and do the last one, guys, which is $100 every single week. This one's pretty cool. Imagine getting $100 every week. Of course, you wouldn't get $100 every week, but because they do pay out monthly, so you would just divide the monthly payment by 4. But let's go ahead and do the math behind it. $100 every single week. There's 52 weeks in a year, so total annually we'd have to make is $5,200. If you take that divided by the annual payout, which is at $1.88, this gives you the total number of shares that you need to own, which is 2,765 shares. Multiply that times the current share price, which is $39.71, which is roughly about $109,836 that you'd have to have invested at the current share price. Quick way to calculate this, again, guys, take the 5,200 divided by the dividend yield, and you'll see that we roughly get about $109,473, and then you'd be roughly making about $100 every single week. But let's go ahead and wrap up this video, guys, by looking at the dividend yield on this ETF. So if I pull this up, you'll see here, guys, that we do have the dividend yield. This is the dividend yield right here. It'll fluctuate over time. This goes up to 5 years, so, or I guess goes back up to 5 years. So it goes all the way to about 2018. You'll see back in the March 2020 crash, this thing spiked up all the way to roughly a 7% return on the dividend yield. And then it's been only trading around 3% or so back in 2022. And slowly it's starting to climb, and it's starting to get into a higher dividend yield here. Yeah, guys, this is actually all I have for you guys in this update. Let me know in the comment section if you guys are invested in this ETF. Are you guys invested for the long term, short term? What's your plan with this? And let me know any other companies you guys want me to cover in the future. I'll be happy to add those to the list. Don't forget to subscribe with that notification. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscriber mark, so if you guys wouldn't mind helping me out as well, if you wouldn't mind dropping a big thumbs up, helps out the channel, helps it promote it. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.